NFL news, long presumed, now confirmed. Aaron Rodgers is a Steeler. More than 80 days after the start of free agency and 10 weeks after first visiting the team, the four-time MVP and Pittsburgh agreed to a one-year deal. Rodgers will join in time for next week's mandatory minicamp, which opens Tuesday. Oh, by the way, the Steelers' first regular season opponent, the Jets. The helmet Rodgers is wearing right there. That's a big ol' update to the Fowler Files for this week. We're here to download all the info with Jeremy Fowler. Jeremy, 41 years old is Aaron Rodgers, turns 42 in December. What do the Steelers assume they're getting with the veteran QB?
Well, Phil, they do believe that they get the best field vision from a quarterback that they've had since Ben Roethlisberger, that he can solve problems for them at the line of scrimmage. They haven't really had that. He can get solutions and figure things out with his mind. They believe he still has plus arm strength. They know the mobility is an issue. Like, they're not hiding from that. So the offensive line is going to have to be good. But in Rodgers' talks with the Steelers, they were sure that he's been keeping in good shape. He's been training out in L.A. He has been preparing to play coming into town really any day now to get ready for minicamp. They also believe, the Steelers, that their receivers are young, hungry, and smart. They believe that's a good fit with what Rodgers likes, because he does all that line of scrimmage, hand signal stuff. Yeah. Like, they got to get on the same page, so they have to be smart.
And one of those workouts in L.A. was with DK Metcalf at UCLA, so building the rapport even before he officially put pen to paper. Kirk Cousins, the possible backup plan for Rodgers in Pittsburgh if that didn't work out. So the natural trickle down, what's next for Cousins?
This hurts. I mean, there's no other way around it. There's not a quarterback available job or a path for Cousins to go somewhere else and start right now. So there was probably a hope from his camp that, like, hey, if something were to happen to Rodgers, if he decided to retire, maybe the Steelers would make some sort of move or at least call Atlanta to see what it would cost. So right now, there's not a lot of movement. You know, you got the New Orleans Saints out there. They've got some young quarterbacks, so they need to make a move, but they're in division. So Atlanta's probably not going to want to do that. So there are two paths for the Falcons and Cousins here. You either ride this out, you pay him that money, that $27.5 million in guaranteed salary this year, or you wait till maybe there's an injury in training camp, maybe somebody gets hurt. That opens an avenue for Cousins for a potential deal. But right now, like, this has been really slow to the point where maybe in March, if there was a team that was willing to make some sort of move like the Cleveland Browns before they added a gazillion quarterbacks to their quarterback room, that would have made a lot of sense. As one source told me, if the Falcons were willing to take like $7 or $8 million on an offset deal, then this would have got done probably. But Atlanta wants somebody to cover a large portion of that contract. That's been the issue.
Still a lot of guaranteed dollars to soften the blow for Cousins. Jeremy, an injury we're keeping an eye on right now, Anthony Richardson and that shoulder. What's the potential this could linger into training camp for the QB?
It could linger. The plan right now is for rest. So Anthony Richardson reported to the team he had some agitation, some inflammation in that shoulder stemming from that AC joint injury he had in 2023. They got some scans done. They got noted surgeon Neil Elitrosh involved. He's the one who did the surgery 2 years ago. So talking to the people from the team and player side, I don't get a sense that there's a major concern of anything structural or long-term right now, but it is a slippery slope with shoulder injuries that could linger. So they're hopeful that with rest, that he will be fully ready for training camp come the start of it for that quarterback battle with Daniel Jones. Part of it is Richardson has been going pretty hard this offseason, been throwing a lot. He's getting ready for this battle, and then now he gets some soreness. So not major right now, but it's something that could linger.
And Chris Ballard was not shy about using the word competition when talking about the QB status for Indianapolis heading into 2025. Jeremy Fowler, thanks so much.
Yes, sir. Thanks, Bill.
Emerged from the darkness of being released by the Jets after the worst season of his career and is signing with the Steelers. Is the 41-year-old just what Pittsburgh needs for brighter days ahead, or have they just jumped into a black hole? Plenty of opinion floating around today. It is our Take Two.
Does this give the Steelers a chance? Does it give Metcalf a chance to have some passes caught? Calvin Austin III. How about Warren running with the football? How about Freiermuth catching the football as a tight end, being the big target that he is? I am relieved because at least I have a quarterback who I believe Aaron Rodgers is still.
When you think about Pittsburgh Steelers fans being excited, what has been their problem the last few years? It's been the fact that they can't win playoff games. The fact that the Pittsburgh Steelers aren't contending for Super Bowls. Aaron Rodgers doesn't make this team a Super Bowl contender.
There's some level of upside to bringing in Aaron Rodgers because of what he's been in the past. If there's like an 8% chance that he's MVP Aaron Rodgers again, then this was 100% worth it for the Steelers.
Aaron Rodgers, if he plays the best I feel he can at 41, is still the third best quarterback in the AFC North behind Lamar Jackson and Joe Burrow.
Mandatory minicamp for the Steelers begins next week. We will obviously have all of the coverage out of Pittsburgh.
From OTAs, I think it's like Mosey down the road or something. Yeah, I'm from Atlanta. Aaron Rodgers finally signs with the Steelers. Pittsburgh's looking for the quarterback to put them over the hump. They think the four-time MVP is the guy, the 41-year-old Rodgers, looking for the old magic after a down season and getting released by the Jets. And by the old magic, I'm talking about the last time he sat atop the mountaintop when the Packers faced the Steelers in Super Bowl 45. It was 2011, and a 27-year-old Rodgers threw for 304 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks in their win. He was named MVP of that game, but of course that is Rodgers' only Super Bowl win in his 20-year career. Tag Aaron Rodgers as the Steelers more with our girl, NFL analyst Mina Kimes. We just showed the flashback of the Super Bowl. Certainly he's not the same quarterback he was 14 years ago. Where are their concerns level for fit here for you?
It's an odd fit in some ways. It's not impossible, but when I think about Arthur Smith and the offense in Pittsburgh, I think under center, play action, condensed formations, multiple tight ends. When I think about Aaron Rodgers and what he likes to run, I think about him being in the gun, reading things out, pre-post snap, looking for matchups. When he was with Matt LaFleur, who was, by the way, tied to Arthur Smith, Tennessee, there was a little bit of a conflict, I think, between those styles. And they arrived, by the way, in Green Bay at a perfect union. Is he capable of doing that at this point in his career with Arthur Smith? I don't know, but it could be necessary for this offense to be any better than it was last season.
Yeah, I mean, they've been trying to solve this riddle since Roethlisberger retired in 2021. Since then, the Steelers have combined for the fewest touchdown passes in the league, and Rodgers for himself averaged career lows in yards per attempt and yards per dropback last year. Bettors are not exactly impressed by the Steelers' acquisition of Rodgers. Pittsburgh only has 5-1 odds, according to ESPN Sportsbook, to win the division, just to win the AFC North next season. The Ravens remain an odds-on favorite to win a third straight division title. So I'm not even going to have you rank the 41-year-old quarterback in terms of quarterbacks in the entire league, Mina. Just where does he sit right now in the division?
Pretty comfortably third. And in his defense, Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson are like at the top of the NFL. They're both top 4 quarterbacks in this league. But, there's a pretty significant gap between them and Rodgers. And then behind them, of course, is a giant question mark in Cleveland. We're talking about either Joe Flacco or Shedeur Sanders or, anyone, Dylan Gabriel. So I think while it could potentially, I want to hesitate, I'm not even going to say certainly, be an upgrade in Pittsburgh over what they got last year, I don't see any world in which they leapfrog the other 2 teams in their division in Baltimore and Cincinnati.
Yeah, ultimately, that Pittsburgh team with Justin Fields and Russell Wilson did make the playoffs, but that's been the issue for Pittsburgh, winning a playoff game. And while Aaron Rodgers had his worst QBR of his entire career last season with the Jets. Mina Kimes joining us.
Mọi người cứ lần lượt cho đến hết. Tiếp nha.